We are continuing our lesson on solving radical equations. These problems will take a little bit longer. So if we notice here, we do have a square root on both sides, but there's more than just the square root on this side. I'm still going to square in order to get rid of the square roots. But on the left, I really have the square root of x plus 2 plus 1 times the square root of x plus 2 plus 1. All right, this side is going to be nice. I just get 3 minus x. So here, I'm going to make sure I'm distributing correctly. So first, I'm going to do the square root of x plus 2 times the square root of x plus 2. And when I do that, I just get x plus 2. Then I'm going to do the square root of x plus 2 times 1. So that's plus the square root of x plus 2. Now I'm going to take this 1 and start to distribute it. So 1 times the square root of x plus 2 is again the square root of x plus 2. And then 1 times 1 is 1. So the like terms I have here are I have a 2 and a 1. So I now have x plus 3 so far. And then these are also like terms. When I'm adding together the square root of x plus 2 and the square root of x plus 2, I really get 2 times the square root of x plus 2. All right, and I'm going to bring down my 3 minus x. I still want to get whatever's in the radical alone. So I'm going to subtract x. I'm going to subtract 3 to start. So now I have 2 times the square root of x plus 2 equals, those canceled, and I get negative 2x. Now I'm going to divide both sides by 2 so that I get x plus 2, the square root of x plus 2 equals negative x. So I still have a square root in my problem. So once again, I'm going to square both sides. This side is just x plus 2. This side, negative x squared, is really negative times negative, or positive, and x times x is x squared. So hold on, I'm going to change the way we're looking at this right now. I'm going to scroll, give us some more room. I have a quadratic. I want it equal to 0 to solve. So I'm going to subtract the x, subtract the 2. So I'm going to get x squared minus x minus 2 equals 0. I'm going to factor this by finding what multiplies to negative 2 and adds to negative 1. So that's x minus 2, x plus 1. That gives me a solution of x equals positive 2 and x equals negative 1. And now I have to check. So I'm going to check my positive 2 first. Right? We're going to plug it in here. So that ends up being the square root of 2 plus 2. And then plus 1 equals the square root of 3 minus 2. So this is the square root of 4, which I know is really 2. So I'm going to write that. 2 plus 1 equals, this is the square root of 1. So I have 3 equals 1, which we know is not true. This does not work. So x equals 2 is not an answer. So now we'll check negative 1. So I have negative 1 plus 2 under the radical, plus 1 equals the square root of 3. Now I'm going to do minus negative 1, so I'm going to rewrite that as plus 1. So we end up with the square root of 2 minus 1 is 1, plus 1 equals the square root of 4. So that's 1 plus 1 equals 2, which is in fact true. So our solution to this problem is actually x equals -1. So I want you to try this next one. Pause. I will actually show the full worked out solution for this one instead of just the answer, but check when you're done. All right, so when we square this side, I end up with x plus 6 minus 2 times x plus 6 minus x plus 6 times 2. So that's minus 4 times radical x plus 6, and then negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Rewriting. Oh, sorry. Plus x plus 10 equals x minus 2. So when I subtract x and subtract 10, this time the x's cancel. So I get negative 4 times radical x plus 6 equals negative 12. Divide both sides by that negative 4. Square both sides. And subtract. All right, if I were to check that, I'd see we get 3 minus 2 equals 1, which is 1 equals 1. That works. So my solution is in fact x equals 3. All right, that's it for this lesson.